gebrochen.
Hm. Worauf warten wir jetzt eigentlich? Ja,
1, 2.
ja der Schurke ist gerade reingekommen. Ist das ein tolles Essen hier?
No, relativ.
Besser als das, was ich habe?
Müsste ja.
Ja, ich hoffe, ich pull da nichts hier irgendwie. Gibt's da eine Distanz, die man nicht unterschreiten darf dann beim Shrouden?
Du hast doch gesehen, das ist riesig.
Ich meine, aber wie dicht darf man da den Mobs dann ran? Ich habe nichts hier. Select gerade irgendwie? Kai, hörst du mich?
Ja, ich höre dich.
Ist die Schranke auch noch da?
Ja, also ihr steht da gerade beide rum.
Ja, ich sehe euch auch nur rumstehen. Geh mal kurz aus der Instanz raus und wieder rein, ne? Ich kann nicht raus. Die Barriere blockiert den Ausgang. Ich log neu ein, ne?
Bombs away!
Das fängt ja gut an. Wie gesagt, der Jäger scheint genau selber Probleme zu haben.
Kam mein Chat denn an?
Ja, der kam an. Ah ja, jetzt bist du da.
You're doomed, Brian House! Bombs away! You're doomed, Brian House! You're doomed, Brian House! Water below! Barnacle-bottom swine! You're doomed, Brian Hand!
Da waren wohl irgendwelche Explosions weiter hinten, oder?
Ja.
You got it over your head. Oh, don't mind Shark, mate. He just needs to empty barnacle bottom swine! Water below, you barnacle bottom swine!
Mach doch denselben Fehler nicht nochmal.
Don't mind somebody. Empty is hold. Bombs away! Rise, fallen one. Water below, you barnacle bottom swine! Don't mind somebody.
Tank down. Hätte ja auch mal eine entspannte Runde werden können.
Bombs away! Water below, you barnacle bottom swine! Avast, you bill suckers!
Beware.
Come about and blast that broadside! This one's going right in your deadlights! You won't soon be forgetting that taste!
Beware.
Guzzle your hide! Ain't big back! You won't soon be forgetting that taste! Oh, don't crack your teeth!
Beware.
I'll guzzle your hide! You made me feel to my own anger!
Beware.
You won't soon be forgetting that taste!
Beware.
Wow! Looks like someone still ain't got their sea life!
Beware.
This one's going right in your deadlights! Wow! Looks like someone... Be off to the locker!
Oh, das ging noch. Hätte schlimmer sein können.
Sorry. Sorry, you smell like parrot guano!
I've got it
So,
on
was
good
müssen wir heute machen
authority.
hier?
The captains are gathering to meet. If we get into that party, you can cut off all the heads from this Hydra in one fell swoop. Not even fish drink like bilge rats. If you can keep up with this suit, Captain Eudora won't be able to resist inviting you to the meeting. Getting your hands on an invitation will make the job easier. Or just rush in and attempt to kill three of the most feared pirate captains all at once. Your decision.
So, was muss man machen? Trinken wahrscheinlich. Trinken? Was muss ich machen, Chris?
Ich
Ah, ja.
weiß nicht, jetzt habe ich getrunken. Warum
Ja,
auch immer.
okay.
Ich weiß nicht, was ich gemacht habe.
Ja, ja, den angesprochen. Ne?
Run away, little girl.
So, wo sind die?
Run away.
Ah!
Runtergesprungen. Aber ich habe ihn nicht angesprochen, irgendwie war es trotzdem da.
Rise, fallen one.
Aber die Tanks pullen einfach weiter. Auch wenn man mal eine Sekunde hätte warten können, dann hätten wir das gesehen, dass jetzt der Reaping kommt.
Ja. Das ist alles zu viel. So, warum sitzt jetzt immer noch
Bloodlust.
3? Bloodlust. Ist das noch an? Ich hab's nicht mehr an. Wer wird
Ja,
jetzt
der
zuerst gemacht?
Barkeeper ist nicht.
Der Kleine wird zuerst gemacht, ne? Oder?
Keine Ahnung.
Put your steel away, little girl.
Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Jolly oder was?
Beware. Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Oder welcher?
Ja.
Run away, little girl.
Beware. Beware.
Touching steel. Run away, little girl.
Beware. Beware.
Bury me with my blade. Run away, little girl. Run away.
Das geht noch smooth. Schmus.
Schmus.
Ja, du bist einfach ein bisschen schneller mit den Explosions wegmachen, bis ich da irgendwie was angetappt habe und es gekrastet habe.
Naja. Ja, wenn es im Nahkampfbereich ist, ist ja auch alles kein Problem.
Ich versuche mir meinen Instinct irgendwie aufzuheben. Oh, 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 oh.
Run away, little girl! Run away. Rise, fallen one!
Oh, oh.
Gather round and
Run
place your
away,
bets.
little girl!
We got a new set of competitors. Take it away, Gerthok and Woden.
That's your cue, landlubbers!
Ouch! Why'd you poke me? Oh, wake up, Woden! We're on!
Come on, say the things! Say the things!
So, und hier wird jetzt oft schon weitergemacht.
Gather round for a show of
Also im
unbridled
letzten Run,
ferocity.
dem ich hier war,
Coming to you from parts
Ja.
haben sie hier
unknown.
Einfach
angefangen.
nur die
Mysterious,
Trash zu machen. Oder?
Ja.
the slightly uncanny, the band
Wir
of
sind quasi am ersten Boss vorbei, haben dann hier getriggert.
and entering the ring we have the
Ich meine, das Schwein macht ja auch nicht so richtig viel. Ne?
incredible, the magnificent, the... What? Really? It's a greased up pig? I'm beginning to think this is not a professional setup. Now, grab the pig and you win.
Wer ist es? Komm her. Einmal will ich auch das Schwein haben. Wie kriege ich das Schwein?
Well, look at that. They caught a pig. Maybe we should move on to a more threatening challenge. From the sewers of Freehold comes a Tortolan brigand who makes it his duty
Ja, mal gucken, wer es
to
abwarten.
hurt you. He is the dynamo of defense, the sergeant of shell shock, the hellion in a half shell, Ludwig! Valley Buccaneers are resilient, and they
So.
better be, because their next challenger is the epitome of
Wie, der ist auch als
brutality.
Geister? Der
A
kommt auch dann
champion that sleeps with the fishes.
als Trash-Mob bei
Literally,
80%?
the freehold fanatic, the master of the jagged jawbone jab.
Aber es ist doch auf jeden Fall immer lohnenswert, die 100% erst nach dem letzten Boss voll zu machen, damit man die letzte Reaping Wave dann nicht mehr
Ja,
noch spielen muss, ne?
ja.
Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl.
Takedown.
Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl.
Jesus Christ. Ja, don't stand in shit. Ich stand auch in shit, aber nicht so viel wie die in shit standen.
Mal what?
Mal bevor wir rübergehen, ja, Leutchen.
Ach, du Sen.
Du hast gleich variablenmäßig
Nee, nee. Nein, ich dachte, im ersten Hinblick dachte ich, das wäre der eigentlich ausgeschaltete Language-Filter irgendwie. Ach so, das Dings. Remakes. Oh! Dammit. Ja gut, aber ich weiß nicht, was der machen soll hier. Der wird ja dann quasi instant umgenockt hier irgendwie.
ja, letztes Mal auch schon, ne?
Ja, ja.
Wie viel Item-Level? Oh, gut, war das 90. Natürlich auch ziemlich heftig. Der Rotenburger. Oh oh. Shit. Ich hole ihn, nee. Ist er schon da? Nee.
Nein.
Waren wir hier gerade allein die ganze Zeit? Okay.
Was? Ne, der kam hergelaufen. So wie der Schurk jetzt auch.
Eieieiei. Na, +2?
Nee. Not anymore. Gucken, ob wir überhaupt schaffen.
Wer ist denn Andy Moore?
Das müssen wir Mana aufnehmen. Ingredients. Wo war das?
Lala.
Think you can stand against me, swine? Allow me to educate you.
Beware.
Cannons! Blast these scurvy dogs to bits!
Beware.
Swamp the deck with their gizzards! Men! Acquaint these scallywags with our heavy guns!
Beware.
Swamp the deck with their gizzards! Men! Acquaint these scallywags with our heavy guns!
Ach, das gibt noch hier von den Ads, die hier während des Kampfes kommen, gibt es auch Prozente. Das heißt, wir kriegen gleich Ripping.
Swamp the deck with their gizzards! Cannon! Blast these scurvy dogs to bits! Equip these scallywags with our heavy guns!
Scheiße, ich hab gepult.
The deck with their
Fuck.
gizzards!
Bin down, bin down, bin down, bin down, bin down.
Entschuldig.
Ja, der Tank ist auch down. Fuck. Haut ihn um, haut ihn um.
No, that
The rest
was
is
an
shot. You
impressive
fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
Shit.
Never go against sweets when booty is on the line.
Shirt.
Scheiße, es kommt jetzt halt, ein Ripping kommt jetzt zwischendurch oder was jetzt? Oder wie? Das wo?
Ah, shit.
Ich habe diese Kack-Gruppe da beim Dingsbums gepult.
Ach, so ein Shirt. Ja,
Taller men than you have opposed me, but they always
Ja, wir
came
müssen auf einem Fleck stehen, damit wir das Barrage in alle Richtungen gleich kommen und alle gleich weglaufen.
Beware.
Damit wir
scurvy dogs to bits.
Beware.
All hands on deck. Cannon! Blast these scurvy dogs to bits.
Beware.
Swamp the deck with their gizzards. Men, acquaint these scallywags with our heavy guns.
Beware.
Acquaint these scallywags with our heavy guns. All hands on deck. Cannon! Blast these scurvy dogs to bits. All hands on deck. Men, acquaint these scallywags with our heavy guns. Blast these scurvy dogs to bits.
Tja,
Schade.
All hands on deck.
ich komme hier nicht raus. Fuck.
Poor little team. You've been needing some help from everyone, Zombie.
Better touch my booty.
Ah, 96%. Scheiße. Ah.
Rise, fallen one.
Schnell zur Kiste, looten und weg. Ah, geht nicht im Combat. Mann, ey. So ein Scheiß
Ja,
hier.
was war das jetzt hier?
Wer benutzt denn so einen Kack?
Ja, echt mal. Aber ich habe ja eine Alternative, weißt du.
Oh, Gottes Willen. Warum machen wir nicht immer nur so eine Nervenrunden?
Meintest du jetzt das oder meintest du jetzt den Voice-Chat?
Ich meine die Freehold-Geschichte gerade. Oh, Mann, ey.
Ging doch eigentlich. Aber was war denn los hier mit dem Voice-Chat?
Keine Ahnung. Scheinen ja gerade irgendwie mehrere Leute Schwierigkeiten zu haben. So, Ballast.
Ein höheres Dungeon brauchen wir jetzt nicht mehr machen, ne?
Was, 10? Nö.
Jetzt. Aber ja, es ist
They were more consistent, they were more clean on this one. Really bodes well for the next matchup here in Motherload.
Yeah, it was a really good manner throw from Abracadabra in this dungeon. They had a couple of mistakes that you really just can't have.
Also ist wahrscheinlich so für Übung und Rohr und so weiter nicht verkehrt, wenn man das macht, aber
gets quick, they've got to reset the boss, it gets thrown out of the room, and this allows 40k to just pull ahead into a convincing lead. And they got a nice lead, and then Abracadabra threw them another bone just a second later, as a matter of fact, after the
Ja, also die Reaping-Dinger waren ein bisschen heftig, aber ansonsten ging es doch ganz gut, ne?
Ja, wie gesagt, der Tank war ein bisschen... Also, das ist schon die Grenze, finde ich. Also 395 für eine 10er...
Wieso, was hat er? 395?
Ja.
Ja, ging schon. Ich meine, man muss ja irgendwie auch, wir sind jetzt auch nicht, was haben wir, 12, 13.
Ja, aber da machen schon 10 Item-Level schon ein bisschen was aus.
Now we're seeing a shift towards, let's grab as many of the peacekeepers as we can, deal with as minimal trash as we can, while still maintaining up to the 4th reaping, if I'm not mistaken, even 3rd reaping from some of the packs before they deal with the coin-operated crowd pummeler, and then they deal with a bunch of trash up to the 2nd boss. And you know, maybe the R&D wing, Jack, like you're saying, you mention it, we all mention it all the time. It's super dangerous. We're all scared of it, but the couple times we've seen teams go into it, it really hasn't been that bad. They just kind of stomp through it and then skip the remaining half of the R&D wing and with their shadow meld from the night elves, and it's not been so bad, so perhaps they have a tendency to go in that direction now.
Yeah, we'll have to be seeing it on the other side of this break, but give us 1 minute, we'll be right back with Motherload between Abracadabra and 40k.
Kann ich dich jetzt einfach einladen in die L-Gruppe? Hörst du mich noch?
Warum? Ja.
Naja, weil das eine schöne, eigentlich auch ein guter...
Ich war da mal drin, ich bin da wieder raus.
Achso. Achso. Nee, nicht im Discord meine ich.
Oh, ja.
Ja gut, nö, dann muss ja nicht.
Keine Ahnung. Ja, was machen die da? Was erzählen sie da?
Ja. LFG, ne?
Ja, lass mal.
Oh.
Ja.
Die Plattenträger. Ja. Genau.
Ja, Standardmakro halt.
I'm banished.
Können, nee, Jäger können keinen machen, oder?
Kette. Schwere Rüstung. Mail.
Was? Ah, die Briefträger.
Up 1-0 over Abracadabra as we move on to game 2 in this time trial-oriented series here. I'm Jack, and joining me on the desk right now is Sours, Zyronic, and Slipped here. Moving on to the mother load. We've seen a lot of teams going through this hour. We've seen a lot of peacekeepers coming up into play. But overall,
Ich habe immer nicht ganz verstanden, was das in diesen scheuen Mobs sollte, warum die überhaupt da sind.
Something you don't really hear a lot of dungeons is that running backwards is actually the worst possible thing that you can do. You really just try to run forwards as much as possible.
Good advice.
You know, it's much faster to do that. So being able to just run through the first half more linearly and then do some of those mobs in the RNG ring is very efficient for just movement sake.
And I think in many ways, teaming will increase the amount of trash they have to end up doing. People can start following most of their own route by the time that they get to Asherock. They're at 80-85% or something like that on teaming, but they're almost done when they're on when they're not on teaming. So at that point, they're just looking at, well, we got to keep on moving forward. Let's try to take out some of the things here. And even we've seen some of like the weapons testers, for example, it's ironic, where they kind of match up pretty similarly to like the hired assassins. That if you have enough stuns, gouges, things like that to get some interrupts on you, really not too much of a threat.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we've talked about the research and development a lot. It's one of those weird parts of the game. I think a lot of people were instantly turned off by that section of the dungeon. Like single target CC, and they had to deal with all the trash. People were so used to the mission style of just massively weighing things down, and they didn't have that available. They're just like, no, we're not going to do that section of the dungeon anymore.
Well, let's dive right into it. Abracadabra needs this one to stay in the tournament here. 40K has been stepping up today. Let's see if they're going to be able to seal this one out on Motherload.
I'm going to be really curious here, Zyra, to see what, well, I mean, just how this pull is kind of muster up. A lot of times we see teams even mass stealth past the beginning part into the fight, especially at least during explosive week, but not trying to at all. Abracadabra just grabbing a mass pull here right in the middle. Leg sweep comes out. You can see the Peacekeeper formed on the side, but no bloodlust from either team yet as they get an equally sizable pull here. Charged claws coming up from the Peacekeepers. A lot of tank damage coming up.
Yeah, this is completely different from what we've seen from any other team, and we see Divinefield dropping incredibly low, 1% health on him there, but didn't even proc his Cheat Death Trinket if he has that equipped just yet, but he's still taking a massive amount of damage.
Yeah, I mean, this is really dangerous. We can already see the Sackback coming out of Ashine. Now, both Unholy Nieces have been busted out on the two sides. If you think about a trash-rich dungeon, and then on top of it, add teaming, the most that first comes to your mind is the Mother Load, and that is prime time for these Unholy EKs to shine with the amount of damage that they can output with burst AoE. So we're going to probably be seeing some big numbers coming out of the first Reaping Wave here as both teams stealth through and rear up to grab said pack. Now, well and accurately placed Ring of Peace there on purpose in order to make sure that the appropriate mech jockeys get to the non-active mechanized Peacekeepers on the side so that they can activate more of them.
Yeah, and definitely not surprised to see that bloodless pop for Team 40K, and probably eventually for Team Abracadabra here. This is the usual first pull that most teams do. They'll do this quad mechanized keep.
Oh nein.
with their Bloodlust. But we
Oh,
still
ich
have
dachte,
yet
ich
to see
hätte
the
da was
Bloodlust spot
gedrückt,
from
dass ich
Everett
noch
Taylor. So we'll
hier
have to
mit
see what they
mir...
plan on doing with that.
Muss man jetzt
later
rein
in the
oder
dungeon. But
raus?
they look like pretty similar.
Jetzt rein und nachher raus,
I
ne?
think they only grabbed 3 peacekeepers here, if I'm not mistaken. So
Wenn der
perhaps
Sturm
wasn't enough for them, but
zusammenkommt,
they
dann
don't
muss
want
man
to
raus,
delay
ne?
too long. They want to make sure that they get the appropriate amount of Bloodlust in throughout this dungeon. 40k, 3 seconds left on their Bloodlust. Working to finish off these thugs right here as they will proc their first reaping wave. We'll see exactly
Ja,
what
der
they
Hunter
choose to
steht da
combine it with.
hinten,
Now, we
rum.
mentioned it before, teaming here means there's more trash present in the dungeon and more trash that you need to kill to reach your percentages.
Ja, und
We do
der
have
Tank
that
bleibt auch
dangerous
drin.
Grievous affix too, so below 90% you will be accruing a higher and higher stacking dot up to 4 until you're healed back above 90%. But Zyra, let's talk about the trash here for a second. It's not really only for the tank that there's a lot of danger, but residual damage on the group in the form of the thugs, the grease gun coming out of the mech jockey, you got the ice spritzer going out as well.
And there's just so many mechanics to deal with. I think the most dangerous of all those mechanics is going to be that ice spritzer cast for the refreshment vendors. It'll target a random player in the group, channel this ice spritzer ability on that player, doing in its own right a massive amount of damage. But should that channel finish, it'll freeze the person in place for about 5 seconds. Now this is dispellable, but you kind of need to save those dispels for your tank whenever reaping is procced.
A lot of poison damage on Divine Field as he drops to 1% health. He has procced his Bonsomni's Bargain Trinket. We can see that small absorb finally getting healed off there from Elsarat, but a lot of danger coming in for the Divine Field as just they still have a bunch more pulls to go before the next boss. So we won't have that available for 6 seconds, but those poison stacks come from toxic blade casts from the assassins, so somebody failed to get an interrupt there, or they just did not have enough available, adding a ton of extra nature damage to their active target. 40k still dealing with their own pulls here as 2 peacekeepers are grabbed on top of a smaller trash pack, getting ready to proc their 40% reaping wave.
Yeah, I think something we kind of glossed over. I think I was droning on about research and development whenever I popped on the screen. Both of these teams have opted to swap the Unholy DK, which is not that surprising in this teaming dungeon affix, especially in this Crash Rich Motherload dungeon. They've also swapped this Unholy DK just for their massive AoE damage potential. They're pulling so much trash. In addition to that, they're also pulling Reaping on top of even more trash just to take full advantage of that Unholy DK exponential AoE damage.
Yeah, we're going to see here in just a moment the 40% Reaping wave actually on both sides as Average Cadaver sits at 38 and 40k just surpasses it. They get 44% on the board, grab a couple of thugs, a lot of thugs on the side. You gotta be careful with their inhale vapors cast will increase their damage output by 50%. Not only dangerous for the tank here, but these are the mobs that charge off to one of the distant targets and do a fair bit of damage, so they be wary of that getting not too far from the pack as they wait for their second Reaping wave to join the pack. Average down 43% on the board, big pull coming out and leg sweep on top of those Risen Souls to try and control some of the stack gain on top of Divine Field.
And like we mentioned, that massive Unholy DK damage doing more than double anyone else in the group, probably doing about 50% of the overall damage of the group, which is pretty impressive just for one DPS, but that's that power of the Unholy DK. It's that massive AoE exponential damage. Once again, that's why they're pulling those Reaping packs.
Der muss aus dem Grün
Just a bit of
rausgezogen
slop
werden.
coming out of here from Abracadabra's Dr. J as he gets clipped by one of the green swirlies that come out of the Lost Souls when they die. If you get hit by that, you will incur a 30-second debuff that decreases your healing and damage done by 10%. So not what you want to be having in a DPS race of trash pulling right now. Divine Field just having a lot of struggles getting out of that 4 stack of Grievous. Finally, Elsarat manages to heal him up, only to see him dip right back down below 90. Dr. J hovering in that 50% area as well, having his own troubles with the 4 stack of Grievous. A lot of issues coming out here just by avoidable damage and the group getting hit by said avoidable damage, making Elsarat's life just not very fun right now. 40k moving in a more stable, let's say, manner over on the right side at 51% trash and triple peacekeeper.
Yeah, those situations where you see multiple people underneath that Grievous barrier, it kind of means you're not dealing with the trash. And the problem with this trash is that all of it requires so much CC, and you only have so much of it in the group, right? And then you have to remember, there's only running one of those rogues, so they only have one character that can both interrupt and stun pretty occasionally. Their only other options are maybe a clutch grip from the DK, in the case of Lexi from the monk, so they don't have that much single target CC. So some of these abilities starting to
Ich hatte Aggro,
some of the players with
Yeah, and even right there we saw one of the Flechette's cats get its very first takeoff, and poison was applied to the group. That shouldn't be there in the first place because once again somebody did not interrupt the toxic blades on the assassin. Now it could be a calculated lack of interrupt, they might just be divvying up their limited interrupts elsewhere, or somebody just may have easily missed it. Nonetheless, Abracadabra has procced their third Reaping wave in 60s. 6%, and 40k follows suit with their third round of reaping, pulling it amongst trash. Now, it seems that we're kind of seeing a more traditional route to Motherload so far, just dealing with as much of the trash in the first area as possible, expecting to see maybe the 80% reaping wave on top of the first loss.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these groups, I think the only team that really kind of changes their route for this tournament has to be the Method. When you go look at the time trial leaderboards, they were almost a full 2 minutes ahead of every other team, so it was clear that they knew something or had a different strat in this dungeon compared to everyone else. So it's not surprising to see them have a completely separate strategy from what the more traditional strategy is on the side of these teams. Abracadabra having almost a disaster scenario. These guys are still dropping down to poison incredibly quick. Dr. J proccing his cheat death. Ashine going down to that debuff, and that's one of those things we talked about. One of those hired assassins got their toxic blade debuff off. They didn't have a chance to interrupt it, and then he also got his Hail of Fletchets cast off, which every single time that Hail of Fletchet does damage, it applies a stack of that toxic blade debuff to everyone in the group, and I believe they had 3 or 4 of those stacks of the debuff on everyone. This is 2 deaths. It's probably going to be 3. They could keep going. It's going to be a full team wipe.
Oh, the irony of it all. I mean, we just talked about that. They didn't interrupt toxic blades. Flechettes was not interrupted. 4 stacks of poison damage over time on everybody, ramping into Grievous. 4 stacks of Grievous, way too much to heal, and that is going to be all she wrote for now for Abracadabra, as they have a full team wipe, either cover, get right back into it. Dr. J has pulled something somewhere as he drops a significant amount of HP down and re-procs that cheat death. Might be trying to keep the pull alive in the corner, but you can see Jay now finally getting healed by Elsrat. But let's focus here on 40k, who has procced their 4th reaping wave perfectly at 81%, moving over into, I believe we'll be moving into crowd operated Pummeler's room. Yes, so they're going to pull the first boss with that reaping wave coming in. Actually, I don't even know if they're going to do the reaping wave. It looks like they just kind of shadow melded it off.
It looked like they were bringing a piece just to give themselves a little bit of extra time to shadow meld as much as they could. No, unfortunately, a couple of those mobs did leak through. But the thing to remember about reaping that we kind of don't mention too often is that it has a massive aggro radius. We're talking 30-40 yards. So if they see you, if they pretty much catch a glimpse of you, they're going to come running. And that's what we saw with this Lost Soul here. It's an extra thing. We do see them actually getting hit by this frontal static slam ability. It's kind of weird. It's a pretty telegraphed mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking one thing. I'm looking at Abracadabra. Again, they didn't enter with Flechettes. 2 stacks of poison out of everyone. No deaths, but Ashline getting really low again as he had the Ice Spritzer taking on him. Barely able to get out of that 4-stack Grievous. A lot of issues over there as we get the sack pet there and everything he can to stay alive, helping out with some death strikes and stabilizes. 40k here, getting those foot bombs into the boss, making sure that you get that stacking 50% damage increase taken on the boss. Now, trick here really is to get those first 2 bombs in as quickly as possible, followed by waiting on the 3rd one just as long as you can so you can refresh the buff and get it up to 150% damage taken to maximize DPS efficiency. Sometimes, unfortunately, you are forced to kind of get all 3 in at once, depending on what combination of static shock is coming that will punt you back, or of course the coin absorb on the ground.
And of course, should you fail to kick any of those bombs into the boss, they will instead explode on your group, giving your entire group that 50% damage taken debuff, which together with static shock ability from the boss, you can get pretty close. I mean, that's pretty scary in this Grievous environment.
Yeah, no, and Grievous can just snowball so easily in here, and it really makes the healers life quite tough, especially when they're trying to divvy a lot of their healing onto that tank. He's just pulling so much trash right now. Nonetheless, Pummeler finally pulled here by Abracadabra. We see the Bloodlust come out in conjunction with that first round of debuffs from the the foot bombs, really. And finally, 30% here for 40k. Now, both teams pretty well off on trash, but again, we're going to talk about it a million times. By the end of the dungeon, 6 deaths on the board for Abracadabra, 30 seconds to go.
Dunkel.
And on top of that, they're pretty far behind.
Das ist alles, die ganz schnell hier down gehen. Das ist ganz super down.
Significant margin to go through, especially considering that this boss is a lot of damage.
Ich weiß nur, dass man sie blöd über irgendwelche Brücken springen muss.
They are both from the EU, so I'm pretty sure they're both pretty well versed in football, so I don't expect them to miss any of these foot bombs.
That's right, they have to use their foot instead of their hand, so we're not playing hand egg here today, Zyro. 40% on the Pummeler for Abracadabra, whilst single-digit percent for 40k. They get their final round of foot bombs into the boss, getting ready to burn out the rest of it. 19% trash left for them, so it's probably going to be a combination of getting that mid to high 90s, more traditional routing or routing, as we've seen from most of the teams in Motherload, and then dealing with Azeroth. And towards the end of Azeroth's life, grabbing something to proc that final reaping, and then just kind of home running it to the 3rd boss and making to Flux Flame, and making sure that you drop that Shadow Meld, which will just get rid of any aggro on that 50.
Yeah, this is a massive pull coming out from Team 40K here. This is incredibly dangerous. All of these Earth Raiders in this pack have a dangerous ability called Rocklands, which is a single target casted nuke ability that can be interrupted. But considering how many of these Earth Shapers there are on this pack, I don't believe they can get all of the interrupts if they wanted to.
No, and they're doing some really good jobs right there. We do see one go offline hard right now. Just so much damage coming in, and including that dot damage, and I believe it leaves a healing reduction on you, or at least once upon a time. I'll have to double check the fact on that one. But a lot of damage coming in on Rentari as one leak there. 3 more rock lances being cast right now as 2 of them connect with Rentari just at the very end. Managed to keep him alive. A lot of healing and support needed from Igloo, and he does proc his one zombie trinket, so a bit of sloppiness unfortunately at the end costs that cheat death cooldown to proc for the next 6 minutes now. I mean, you were just saying how dangerous those are, and they were. They did really well with the first hit. They Typhoon combo into Ursul's Vortex to deal with the first round of 3, but after that, just...
cheat death over a death in this dungeon any day. Just even though he doesn't have enough for 6 minutes, that's why you wear the trinket. That's perfect there. Now, they do have the exact right amount of trash percentage in order to, like you mentioned, pull that trash back into the boss. But looking at Azeroth here, these Earth Ragers are probably one of the more damage mechanics. They actually got one of the
So man muss ins Dreieck, man muss springen, aber das ist nicht fest.
Man muss rein, ja.
They fix it around the player. You can't get double fixated. You see just how bad the bleed is on Locust right now. 6 stacks. Often to just get away from it. Now, when one of these Earth Ragers gets enraged, essentially, and grows bright blue and grows in size, it will take a substantial amount of increased damage, but also deal increased damage. So, very important for players to get away from that while the supporting rest of the party cleaves that down. Lozelle just now getting healed back above that 4 stack of Grievous. And now we're in kind of essentially, Zyro, snooze fest on this boss.
Yeah, once those Earth Raiders go down, especially with Grievous affix, that extra bleed, which will probably
Ich rette sie in den nächsten Dreieck.
that just proves how dangerous that section of the fight is. But like you mentioned, once those Earth Ragers are dead, you kind of just patchwork the boss. That will spawn one Earth Rager every now and then, but just that one fixate, that one player will just have to run around in circles while his teammates clean it down all the damage going on. Typically what we'll see from the teams is once they've dealt with this one Earth Rager, they'll then pull the Taskmaster and cleave everything down.
Yeah, that's the kind of efficiency you look for from the teams here. I mean, this one Earth Rager, you can kind of see Wolf run around in circles, wanting to not get too many stacks on him while the rest of the team supports with things like Typhoon, Lake Sweep, whatever they can to kind of keep the mob away, but allow Wolf to still effectively DPS the boss. Soon enough, we're going to be seeing that trash pull likely come out of 40k to sync the boss's death along with proccing their 5th Reaping Wave so they can make a coordinated run down to the 3rd boss's room, Rix of Flux Flame. We'll see how that turns out for them. Not far behind at this point, though. Abracadabra now at 60% on Azeroth has also entered that kind of second, you know, more mellow phase, waiting to pull their trash too. They're only 2% ahead on trash, but it looks like they'll be doing some similar
companion repository.
Yeah, that 2% ahead on trash doesn't really do much for them because if I'm not mistaken, this whole Taskmaster thing we first saw from their team, and we know that gives about 7% trash, so they're a little bit not perfect on their calculation for trash percentage, but that didn't seem to affect them too much. They are catching up just a little bit on that boss percentage. We saw they were 30% behind before. Now they're about 25% behind as 40k starts to
maximal eine noch, wenn überhaupt.
Trash down. So we'll have to see which one of these teams can sort of clean this more efficiently down and get the skip.
But as promised, I will mention it again, there are 6 deaths on the board in favor of 40k, so 30 seconds extra that Abracadabra will need to overcome. Not to mention they're already slightly behind on the dungeon. 40k quite masterfully dealing with the rest of the trash on top of Azarok here. 98% on the board. Azarok will fall just as the Taskmaster Ascari is about to be killed here. They'll take a little minecart ride down to the R&D wing that Jack ever so lovingly mentions every time, and they will get ready to shadow meld that aggro off. Everybody down. Actually, they're not going in the cart. They use the momentary time out of combat when proccing Reaping to mount up, and they opt to just go down the side of the cliff there instead of using the cart.
Yeah, that's actually a completely interesting word. I don't think I've seen anyone do that on broadcast before. Instead of taking the cart path, they opt to just go completely around that minefield, and nobody gets hit by a bomb. That's very impressive. I don't think we've seen that from anyone before. But like we mentioned, they're going to go to the far end of this boss room. They're going to proc their Shadow Meld, which will skip all of the R&D trash that they pulled, and they'll only have to deal with just that one Risen Soul that leaked through.
Yeah, so I mean, their aggro radius is just so big, and at this point, they just succumb to the fact that we got to kill this Risen Soul. We're not getting away from it. Not too much damage. A couple of Lost Souls leak as well, but not going to deter them from starting on the boss. Rix of Flux Flame on Tyrannical. Very, very dangerous boss in terms of damage output. Mechanically pretty sound. She will drop these kind of Azurite goop puddles on the ground at a player's location, and after she drops 2, she will will start her propellant blast
Also
in
ein
the
Fan
direction
favorite
of the
hier.
players. You want to make sure you aim that blast towards the pool so they can clean off the platform. But Zyro, first of all, she casts pure fire damage at the tank, not blockable, just huge amounts of incoming damage. Want to get those as often as possible, but she also has the chemical burns.
And the chemical burn is obviously the more dangerous section of the fight here. She'll target both the tank and the closest player to the boss with this nasty, once again, fire damage that will deal a lot of damage. You can see how much damage it's taking on the players that goes on here every single time it goes out. And they don't really have that. They have a pretty solid DPS comp for it. Their monk can touch a karma, their DPS can use their AMS, and should it go on the road like it does here, he can just cloak it off, use that magic immunity, so he did instantly.
Wir müssen die erreichen, hier, der ist er
They're pretty solid comp.
Abracadabra doing well to get the minefield there as well as they get down into Rixa floodplains.
Ja, Junge, du kannst gerne in der Bubble bleiben. Das ist meine Frage.
Wave and just get to town on her. 40K, of course, well ahead at this point.
Where is the bubble boy?
Extra health down from them. 50% now for Rixa. And yeah, well, as you mentioned, Zara, they have enough defensive tools rotational here so that the two closest members to Rixa are either a tank dealing with it, with spell reflect, which is their tankiness, or of course a rotation of anti-magic shell. You have Cloak of Shadows from the world. A lot that can be helpful for the healer. We saw Lizelle get it at the beginning of the fight, and one of those takes about 25% of the max health.
Right, we also the monks can also remove with the choose magic, so they just have a ton of tools to remove or deal with that damage, and as well as, you know, you just see the massive damage from the Windwalker monk. A lot of that has to deal with the touch of karma. They just get free several 100,000 worth of damage for free from that. So I mean, we see them actually pretty masterfully dealing with this area of denial, which is of course the main portion of the boss fight, making sure they don't run out of room to walk around and making sure they're blasting all of those extra goo puddles off of the platform.
Now, it's important to note right now that we're at 4:15 left on Bloodlust for 40K. If they get it back up, it'll be late into the final boss fight with Rascal, but I'm not sure they're either getting it at the last phase or maybe even in the transition phase, but that's kind of what it's about to fall here. And so they're going to go Abracadabra. They only have 64 seconds left on theirs, so they'll kind of have the option and luxury to use that whenever they want. Nonetheless, 40K has down the third boss, Rixa, and will be getting ready to stealth through the rest of this trash, which they won't pull at all. And if they do, well, they have to pull some. There is some true sight in there. They will just get ready to shadow meld it at the end.
Yeah, of course, we'll just see a pretty typical shroud up to the final package of that boss, surrounded by some of those the little jetpack goblins. I don't know what they're called off the top of my head, but those two have true sight, like you mentioned. They'll have to use their second to get past that trash. And I mean, we've gone over this Bloodlust timing a lot of times before, and I can't remember how many times we've said, well, they might not get their Bloodlust up. I think every single time we've mentioned that, it's come up within the last 30 or 40% of the boss, so it's probably going to come up for them right at the end of the fight, but we just have to see.
Mogul, Razdan, Fh both here by 40K as they well dodge the little jetpack goblin dudes, as deemed here. That's ironic. Now, you know, I was thinking more of a 3x3 grid, but really, Jack pointed out to me, it's more of a 3x2 grid, certainly wider than it is tall. So they have to make sure with those Boomba bots going on the side that will cover one column and row of set grid as we see here, that the team effectively moves it to a spot and they have to, you can rotate around the boss because of this large hitbox and not have to move the boss too frequently. Now, if you mismanage the pull or mismanage the position, you have to get ready to break the boss from very stubborn boss. Often cast in position ahead of time by paying attention to where those Boomba bots go out and will be in trouble.
And of course, the more dangerous parts of the fight is what we just saw right there. We see Eagle going down to that Gatling gun where you have to move around the boss, you have to dodge the Gatling gun. But then there's also those bombs going off at the same time, and we saw them go down to that exact combo there. Fortunately, they are running with an Unholy DK who's able to battle res him up quickly. Now, in that double Rogue Windwalker monk comp, you can't do that. So, good on them there for having that confidence dodging. It would have been too unfortunate if they didn't have a battle for that.
That would have been disastrous. That would have been pretty much the end of their right there. Now, but we have to mention as well the hope mix that the drop times will go out on a range target. In this case, really the only target that's viable will be that Resto Druid. They have to run that homing missile out. Anybody that is within that orange radius when it explodes will incur a pretty heavy dot. So something the healer doesn't want to have to deal with whilst all the other damage. And a pretty heavy melee damage goes out. 50% here for Mogul as it starts to enter its transition phase. During this transition phase, we do see often teams pop their Bloodlust. They don't have this available to them, but yet they have to deal with two of these Goblin jetpack dudes.
Yeah, but the 2 Goblin jetpack ships, you know, in my defense, nobody pulls this trash in the dungeon, so I don't really remember what the names are.
It is part of this boss, just
True, it is part of this boss. These Sky Scorchers do have an interesting ability as Azerite Heartseeker will target a player, and you can soak this damage by splitting the damage by standing inside that red line.
Ja, aber ich meine, es müsste doch irgendwie mal
this
irgendwie
intermission
Balance da
is that
sein.
stomp, that drill smash. He'll target one of the players, you see the arrow over their head right there on blue, and once the boss finishes the drill smash, guys, he'll go to that position, stomp down, and you want him to go to stomp all 3 of these little oil cans. Once those oil cans are stomped, he goes back to the first phase.
Those are oil cans. I thought they were like little pillars or something, but nonetheless, of course, they've fixed that issue as well that we knew earlier with all of the pets down on the side. Those don't count anymore, so all 3 do need to be stopped before the boss is able to break out. He does so right now, 45%. Now, once you get past this transition, you're just back in phase 1 again, the exact same phase that we saw from 100 to 50. Bloodlust will be coming up in 32 seconds for 40k, whilst Dabra just clawing their way back, trying to get through this transition phase, and they still have their Bloodlust available as well. I like to see these teams, well, involuntarily on 40k side, but holding on to their Bloodlust. A lot of the time, I don't feel like they need them. They're in the transition because they end up killing the Sky Scorcher so quickly. They're just sitting there on a boss that is mostly immune to damage, doing nothing for 15 seconds of Bloodlust.
I mean, it's sort of a safety thing, right, with those 2 little Goblin jetpack dudes.
Ja,
There's a lot of AoE damage going out on the group in addition to the AoE damage done by the drill smash that goes on in the group. So it's just kind of a safety thing. They're making sure they're staying alive for the healing. But we do see the Bloodlust does come up for 40k when the boss is at 20% health. They'll probably have that up until the end of the fight. And of course, once the Memorized head sort of version of Mogul Resonant goes down, the Goblin himself will pop up and they'll just finish the dungeon.
Yeah, not a lot of health there as Mogul is being finished off by 40k here, and a rather turnaround performance here from 40k as they Raz dunk all over Abracadabra with a 2-0 sweep, even having to replay that first dungeon, which they were
40k or 40k?
So 40k dominates here and moves on in the lower bracket.
40k smashes Abracadabra, who really just did not look like the team that we've come to know them by at this point here. 40k, the 4th seed, being the number 2 seed in this tournament. And 40k not only was the number 4 seed at the start of this tournament, but they ended up in 17th place at the last soccer. So the growth that we've seen today has been absolutely phenomenal, and they are knocking out Abracadabra. And 40k moves on, though, against the enemy on this one, Sours.
Yeah, unfortunately, Abracadabra just got iced early in the dungeon, and he went down to that ice spritzer in the beginning. And when you die as a Death Knight, you see his damage has sort of only just begun to take off. All these mobs have so much health, and the entire team just ends up going down without the extra damage. This fool's perhaps a little bit overzealous.
Alles bitte.
They couldn't quite handle the pressure. And they all kind of start falling over one at a time, and this is sort of the story of Abracadabra from the previous dungeon as well as this dungeon, where they just couldn't quite handle it. But 40k looking cool from the
Explosion
big holes and
shirt.
flawless execution.
What was going on with Abracadabra? It seemed like they were a team that we had slated to be stacking up against Method NA, maybe being a pretty close competitor to Method U, and right here they just didn't play like it.
Yeah, we kind of established that narrative the first couple. They were the super successful team. They were super dominant. They were not. They only made one mistake all along, but maybe it was the Chapter 19 that kind of threw them off. I can't really think of anything else because we've seen a pretty good team from this game.
At some points, it kind of seemed like they've lost a bit of either polish, where they've been trying to mix in maybe a little bit more damage here, and then they play too aggressively, and then they start wiping here. Sours, what was the big moment here that followed?
Oh, this is big, aggressive, but it's working out for 40k. This huge giga pull out of Rentari.
Break yourself
this is the kind of pull out
my
of the past.
body.
You really only see this kind of stuff happening with a Death Knight before the past. But the power of the rest of the drop a Typhoon and a Vortex, and you see he knocks all those mobs back, and then the Druid is the Death Knight equivalent in this. He stacks all these mobs up beautifully for Lothis, and it's the same thing that we saw a lot of teams doing in the Waker's Manor, where there's good head on these DPS players to kind of hold off on the damage for a little bit, to let these mobs get stacked up so that they can get maximum efficiency on their cooldowns and kill all these mobs at once. As you saw, a lot of these rock lances start to get off when these mobs are at low health, but they pull it off.
Incredible performance that they did there, and as you're seeing here, the lower final, Method NA and 40k are vying in the lower final spot to get into the grand finals. Method NA really wants to get that rematch, against Method EU on this one here.
Break yourselves upon my body.
Das wäre ein bisschen eine Website.
Feel the strength of the earth.
About 2 weeks ago, so, but, you know, 40k, I mean, just, 40k to me is the
The cycle is
starting a business sloppy, maybe, you know,
Das war das.
to their own 40k, every dungeon they do just keeps
break yourselves upon my body.
Method in it already.
Feel the strength of the
If
earth.
you want to vote in chat right now as who you think is going to win the next matchup, you
Was
should
ist
use
das?
hashtag 4K or
Alter!
hashtag 40k putting on an incredibly impressive performance against Abracadabra, who in turn just did not look like the same team as
das war doch
they
mein...
were before.
Oh,
Next up is going to be the lower finals to see who is going to go up to the grand finals against Method EU. Don't go anywhere, guys. The Mythic Dungeon International will return right after this short break.
Inji.
Ja, ja.
Break yourselves upon my body. Feel the strength of the earth.
Eieiei. Das war peinlich. Dankeschön. Noob Time, Noob Time.
Er macht schon mal weiter.
Oh ja.
Eigentlich hätten wir noch am Anfang der Instanz warten können und,
und er bringt den Loot zurück. Genau. Hat es doch immer einen Namen. Dragon Souls. Nicht schlecht.
Ja, das ist doch ein Witz.
The world will be reborn in flames!
In flames.
Muss man die da reinbringen oder wie war das? Ich meine, die Mobs da, die Äxte da kommen oder?
Man muss bestimmt so viel DPS auf sie machen, dass die HP unter 0 gehen.
Ah.
Könnte ich mir vorstellen.
Die Mechaniken sind Warum haben wir es jetzt eigentlich nicht geschafft, hier sie zu töten, bevor die Gefahr sie kam?
Ja, echt mal. So, komm her hier. Schlampe. Alter!
Ja, wie war das nicht in Scheiße stehen und so weiter? Großer, bunter, leuchtender Kreis.
Jesus Christus, das gibt's da nicht, ey.
For my death, countless more will fall. The burden is now yours to bear.
Ja, wie ich schon sagte, letzte Inni.
Ja, die war doch jetzt aber mega schnell.
Oh. Ja, ich bin durch. Ich bin durch mit den Nerven.
Also ich würde jetzt nicht zu Ende machen, aber ja. Also ich denke, ich mache die sowieso zu Ende jetzt
ja,
dann, aber...
Mach ruhig. Break yourself upon my body.
Also nicht mehr.
Nee, nee. Nicht mehr.
Nicht mehr.
Nicht mehr. Mach ruhig noch.
Na gut.
I've seen things that would scare you shelless.
Aber ich konnte meinen Battle-Riss endlich mal einsetzen.
Ja. Der kann aber
zum zweiten Mal.
Der kann doch aber auch bestimmt schief gehen, oder?
Ja. Bist du online, ne?
Doch, ja, bin ich. Resulting in loss of vitality. Wie, du hättest...
While this device is sure to bring the dead back to life, it may also bring the living to the brink of
to
death.
see who moves on to play against Method EU here. I'm Jack, and joining me on the desk right now, we've got Zyronic, Nagura, and
Aber yes, ich habe einen Battle.
Going into this game, we got King's Rest to start, followed by Shrine, and then Freehold if we go to a game 3 here. King's Rest has been a dungeon, Ironic, that has really had a mixed history for both teams.
Yeah, we've seen both of these teams in King's Rest already this weekend. Now, both of them lost their first matchup in King's Rest earlier on, with Team 40K losing to Method EU in pretty dominant fashion, and then Team Poluka also dropping their first King's Rest. But we did, however, see 40K, not Method 40K just yet. We saw 40K come back and actually win their second match against Team Poluka a couple matches ago. Even though it wasn't necessarily
ich streame noch.
they showed that they can get through the dungeon relatively.
Vielen Dank fürs Zugucken.
And from that point, we also have to look at the Shrine. Shrine's another dungeon. We've seen a lot of deaths on this weekend in particular. And curious to see if anybody is going to start adopting some of the other strategies, especially the limited time so far. We saw an excellent run out of Method EU for Shrine. It's got to be interesting if they're kind of setting the bar for how teams are running that.